So, well, we will begin the session for the day today. So, the first session will be from Noida chapter, where Deepashri Jha will be sharing on her experience on transitioning to a Scrum Master role. Deepashri Jha is a Agile program manager in one of the leading IT firms. She has 14 plus years of IT experience. Before I welcome her, let me thanks our founding sponsor Innovation Roots. Innovation Roots is a leading consulting and training service provider helping organizations to achieve business agility and beyond. It is one of the leaders and pioneers of niche publishing services and well known for content collaboration with global thought leaders, authors, and creators. For more information, I request you to visit www.innovationroots.com. Quick do's and don'ts. Join the event 5 minutes before the start time. Use high quality speakers and headphones for better sound quality. Please keep your microphones muted and video disabled as this may cause disturbance and bandwidth issue. Questions will be taken via chat box. Facilitator or moderator will help and read out the questions to the speakers as per the time availability. Please fill the feedback form after the event to help us understand more about the event management. We appreciate your cooperation. With this, I would like to welcome Deepashri and I'll hand over the presentation access to her so that we can start with the session for the day. Yeah,
Okay, thank you first of all to Agile Network India for providing this great platform for people to come up and share their views. Before I go ahead and share my screen, I would like to, just have a quick checkpoint with everyone. So, how are you all feeling this morning? I'm amazed to see so many people joining an early morning on a weekend. I thought there would be a low participation. Trust me on that. Okay. Because waking up early morning at on a Saturday for this itself shows your passion towards agility. So and on the topic. So it's amazing to see to have you all here. So warm welcome. About myself, I want to tell you that I'm a self taught Scrum Master, I would say. So I have worked my way through Scrum Mastery to Agile coaching and I know how tough it is to transition to this role. Trust me, I mean, especially with so much of challenges all around, with so much of diversity, so much of scope. You really don't know how much should I prepare for, right? So you may just feel lost that, yeah, from where to begin. So before I even start sharing my screen, I would like to have a quick touch point with all of you. uh, I would request you all to log into menti.com, and I would share the link with you. Just give me a moment. Mm, you have this link here on your chat box. So if you all can join it, it would be great. There are two questions that you would be answering. So let me just go on a full screen share and let me know if you are able to see my screen. Yeah, fantastic. So let me know what is your current role in your organization that you are currently performing. So it helps me to gauge the input so that we can customize our talks based on that. Hmm. Fantastic. We have Agile coach too. I have 7 participants. Okay. I love the word change catalyst. Fantastic. Beautiful. Makes me so happy to see it. Okay. So I have about inputs from 10 people. In the interest of time, I would move to the next question that you have, and that is, which statement do you most resonate with? Like, who or what is a Scrum Master? I don't know about that role. Or I am aspiring to be a Scrum Master. Or I am a Scrum Master and I enjoy my role and I regret being a Scrum Master. That could also be a possibility. Yeah. Fantastic. Okay. Okay. Nine people already did. One more. I'm a Scrum Master and I enjoy my role. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time, for your patience to come here. I see maximum people who are here want to become a Scrum Master. You want to transition into that role. So then you are in the right space. Okay. So having said that, let me take you to my presentation on transitioning to a Scrum Master role. This is a role which I think everybody knows about, everybody is harping about it, everybody wants to be doing a Scrum Master role. And most of us, we prepare, right? Because see, I will say our industry is not mature yet to have seasoned Scrum Master. That's the fact, right? It is not seasoned enough to have really experienced great Scrum Masters. So before you plan to transition, know what is really needed. And this is a role where more than learning the skills, it's your innate calling that really works. So let's go. We got to know about each other. So yes, we did that quick assessment. What are your current roles? And so let's see. So what I have for you today is, are you ready for a SM role, right? That readiness check has to be there. Uh, we would be talking about what are the skills that you will need as a SM. So if you are already a SM, you can also see how effective you are. So we will also see how you can measure your effectiveness, because nobody is going to come and ask you, hey Scrum Master, how effective you are. It is for your own growth, for your own to be on that growth path. So we also learn about what is a growth path for SM, right? What next? If you are already playing a role of a Scrum Master or an Agile coach, what next? Do I continue doing it or do I change? How does it work, right? And what are the typical Scrum Master challenges? A lot on the plate. Let's see how well we can cover all the topics. And all throughout, feel free to post your questions in the chat. I'll try my best to cover it today. In case I'm not able to, I'll at least share my thoughts with the facilitator, and they can post it in YouTube or in their wherever they would be posting this recording. Yeah. So are you ready for a Scrum Master role? So, when I say this, uh, what do I mean? What does it take to be a Scrum Master? And it's okay if you want to unmute yourself and talk about it. I will be more than happy. I can't access the chat right now. So I would love to hear it from you. What does it take? Do you feel that you are ready for a Scrum Master role? And if you have to be ready, what does it take to be ready for this role? Anyone? I saw 70% of you aspire to be. So I want to know, what have you done so far to be ready for this role?
So I
What
have,
has been? Hmm.
yeah, I have completed a few certifications and then
Hmm.
I gave interview. Now I got two offers as a Scrum Master. So this is the
Okay.
thing I've done to become a Scrum Master. Now the next part will be
Right.
like how I will be playing that role.
Fantastic. I think you have nailed the first blocker. That means to get into this role, right? So yes, what helps you to be ready are those certifications, right? And you have so many. I'm not going to talk about that because you are smart enough to find out which certification would work and which has lifelong validity and so on. But getting the job is the easiest, right? Cracking that 45 22 hours interview is the easiest because you can prepare for it. What you cannot prepare is what you're going to face once you are in that performing that role, because every day will be dynamic, right? The organization culture would be different because obviously you are taking a new offer, so it is really challenging. So how can you ensure that before you start performing that role, how can you become ready for it? Yeah, so let's cover that. So for everyone who is still aspiring and are wondering what to do, I would say stop thinking, right? Stop talking about it, stop dreaming about it, start doing. The worst thing that can happen is you will be rejected in an interview. That is the worst that can happen. It can't get worse than that. So at least start appearing for your interviews, right? That's my take. So and start preparing, one gentleman said, right? I completed certain certifications. Obviously when you do certain certification, by default you will prepare for that topic, right? Otherwise you will not be able to clear those certifications. So when you prepare for those topics, you automatically start getting into that mode of thinking. That mindset comes automatically. The more you read, you will learn the language of the subject, right? And the more you talk that language, the more you feel more confident about that particular topic. So let's see what does it take. So the first and foremost is you need a mindset of being a servant leader. Mm, Not everyone can become a good scrum master. The reason is scrum master is a role which is to serve the team, serve the PO, serve the organization. And this is a role, unlike project management or program management, you do not have authority. Right? You are not a people manager. You have no control or nobody is reporting to you. Right? When I say no authority means nobody is reporting to you. So obviously to get to lead without authority is a skill not many have, right? So self assess your own self. Does it help me or does it make me happy to see the team I'm working with grows? Do you like to see that, or you feel offended that, or you feel sad that no, I'm not getting appreciation, or I'm not getting some rewards? If that is the case, then probably you will be getting recognized as a good scrum master. See, I'm not denying that fact, but it is more of a servant leadership that comes into when we talk about the mindset part. All right. uh, Coming to knowledge, you need to have knowledge of the various frameworks which are around, at least the most common one. And the best way to look through are the agility reports, right? Currently it's the 14th agility report which is there. You can see which frameworks are most common in the industry. So being prepared with various frameworks, having some knowledge on the frameworks helps. Why? Because it helps you to uh, guide the team, the organization, the management, the accounts that you are working for, which framework works best with the kind of product you are trying to support. Right? So there's Scrum, there's Kanban, there is at team level. Then you can leverage the practices from disciplined Agile. You can learn if you are trying to scaling things up. You can do safe, you can do less, you can do Nexus. So there is a lot of framework. So you need, as a scrum master, you need to be aware what are what are the available frameworks I have and which is best suited for my product. That knowledge is very important. right? Because that is the only knowledge that you will need, actually, if you ask me, to become a good scrum master. You don't need any technical knowledge as such. You need not know how to code. If you're supporting a .NET or a cloud team, you need not know how to actually configure cloud. No, that for that your team is there. But you definitely need to know what would work best, and how you can focus on value delivery and making the delivery frequent and often. That would be the job of a scrum master. And last but not the least, you need an opportunity to practice this, right? Without practicing, you you can't be an effective scrum master. You will be scrum master certified on a paper, but you need an opportunity. So how do you create that opportunity within where you are currently working? I'll share my story, right? When I started, all right. There was I wanted to be a scrum master, and there was no option. And I mean, as in, we were not a agile team, and specifically when I work for a service company. So obviously our transformations are mainly driven by the client, right? If the client wants to move to agile, yes, then everybody would move to agile. Otherwise, no. And I've always liked this, because the company I work with, they are very um, far sighted. I mean, we talked about design thinking way back in 2000, early 2000, right? We talked about agile way back in early 2000. So that ways I was lucky, because my company was always talking about new things that would get very relevant later. So we did get a chance to get trained on those things, but I did not have personally an opportunity to execute it. So what I did was, we still had a team, we still had those things to deliver. It may sound like doing agile and not being agile, but what I want to focus here is, at least if you're not getting any chance, at least start doing agile, right? Like, start having those stand-ups, start having those connects, collaborate. Okay, you need not have the scrum ceremonies or events that you want to do, but at least you can have those brainstorming sessions, right? Start facilitating those, because as a scrum master, you have to be a very good facilitator, and you cannot be one without practicing. Do I make sense here? Because without practicing, you will not know where you falter. Without practicing, you will not know, okay, this is how I can improve. This is how I can add more value. This is how I can, this is where I did not do great. And in the next attempt, you will again improve. So that continuous improvement in your own effectiveness would come only when you practice more and more and consistently. You don't leave it just because I'm not getting an opportunity. So you can conduct brainstorming sessions within your team just to get some ideas. That's something that's applicable in any kind of projects, isn't it? I mean, whether it's agile or waterfall or any industry that you belong to, you can always have those brainstorming sessions. You can always have those try and host hackathons. That you can always do. You need not be agile to do those. Why I'm saying so? Because that helps you how to run or facilitate events effectively. Okay, because at the end of the day, that is a core one of the core responsibility of scrum masters. Okay, as we move through this, I'm going to talk about what are the skills needed to be a scrum master. Okay, what do you think? What are the skills that are needed? I mean, let me just go and check the chat if you have any pointers there. Okay, I handed. Okay, active listening. What else? Emotional intelligence, collaborative, fantastic. Influencer. Okay. Adaptability. Hmm. I think you guys know it. You are not new to this. So if you ask me what are the skills needed, I would say there are 7 stances of a Scrum Master. I think most of you would have seen this. Yes, in any of the PSM courses, they would show this, right? PSM 1, PSM 2, they talk about the stances and the skills needed. So I think you guys nailed it. They are all of that, right? So you need to have those skills. Those are the soft skills that is needed when you are talking about the various stances that you have to uh, play as a Scrum Master. At times you need to be an impediment remover. So how can I be an effective impediment remover? This is something that you have to ask yourself when you are playing that role. Am I an effective impediment remover? And if I say impediment remover, what really it means? What does it mean to remove impediments? How do I track and make a progress and see how quickly I remove impediments? So whenever you try to evaluate yourself, right, in terms of skill sets, I think it's very important that you have some data points, right? So even for your like you want to say that no, I am a great impediment remover. How? What are the data points? Do you maintain an impediment backlog, or do you know how quickly an impediment, the time it comes, how long it takes to complete it? Right? So those are some of the nitty gritty things that you may start evaluating yourself, because your effectiveness nobody is going to ask. People are will be more focused on what is the effectiveness of the team, what are their velocity, what is their how predictable they are, how once the story comes in, how quickly it can be finished. No, but nobody talks about impediments, nobody talks about the effectiveness about of a Scrum Master, right? So to do that, I would say focus more on removing impediments. For if you want to become a good facilitator for that matter, what are the facilitation tool sets that you are going to use? I know many seasoned agilists would say that no, we should not be using we should not talk about tools. I understand individuals and interactions over processes and tools. We believe in that, but definitely we use processes and tools to help us, right? So when you are facilitating, a Scrum Master is the key facilitator of all the events which are happening, right? Your iteration planning, the the stand-ups, yes, it is the daily Scrum is handled by the team, but then you again have your retros, your reviews, your backlog refinements. How do you ensure that you are a good facilitator and not a scribe, not a secretary to the team, that you are just scheduling the meetings for the team and creating a structure or a space where they can do it? What differently can you do? How do you add value? And that value would come when the meetings get effective, right? All the events, they are effective. They have a great outcome rather than output, right? It's not just about doing iteration planning, getting that sprint backlog and working on it. How effective it is in terms of value delivery to the business. Whatever stories that you are writing, is it in terms of how effective is the story writing? Is it in terms of, is it fulfilling, or are those stories which are there adhering to invest principle? Who checks it? It's the key facilitator, right? It is, as a Scrum Master, you are responsible for that. Okay. And it's not that your team is already, that would be a future state if you are still not there, right? So at least you need to do that assessment at this point in time. Where does my team stand? And in the next 30 days, how are we going to move from here? To a certain extent, there should be some improvement, delta improvement, even a small percentage, but there should be an improvement, and that is the job of a Scrum Master. As a coach, now if you want to be an effective coach, you need to understand what coaching is, right? We know what a coach is, right? But you have to practice that coaching style, isn't it? Yes, no? So if you have to Practice coaching. How do you do that? You do it directly with your team? I say start with your family. I started my first initial coaching with my husband, right? That's what I do, because when you have to really learn something, start from your home, because they will be very open and they would like give you a very fair feedback. Try with that. Okay. um like you want to know, wi- being an active listener, I saw somebody said that as a coach you have to be an active listener. You have to observe the body language, you have to observe how people are reacting, you have to understand the team dynamics happening during the events, right? You have to be a keen observer. Why? Because this is going to help you gauge those data points to make the improvements for the team. Here, we are not talking about adding value to self, but adding value to your team and how effective you are in doing so. At times, you will have to become a teacher of teaching the Scrum, teaching the development practices which are there, like BDD, TDD, XP practices. You may need to teach the product owner about the various prioritization techniques. It depends upon your product, right? Not every prioritization technique is going to work. So as a scrum master, you should be aware of all the available prioritization techniques, expose those techniques to your PO and say, hey, can we see which one works best for our product? Right? You need to know about the various estimation techniques. When you talk about estimation, people end till, okay, we are going to do the Fibonacci series and we talk about the planning poker. But how do you teach the team what one means, what five story points mean? Can we have an agreement on some of the parameters? Help the team evolve in in those areas, right? What could be the parameters? We will say that no, it's a 5 pointer story, right? Help the team come to a decision. Work with the team on value stream mapping. Leverage, help them understand about the various design thinking practices. These are some of the skills which a scrum master should teach the team. The team may not have time to learn all of this. You, as a teacher, should be spending some time with the team to come up with these items, right? Uh, Servant leadership, I already said, right? To lead without authority. I also see a lot of dissatisfaction amongst the Scrum Master community because they end up taking the role of a project manager, right? They enter a company and then they are said that no, you have to play the role of a project manager also, so I need some data charts. So you end up doing a lot of activities related to Excel sheets, related to Gantt chart, related to project, the typical project management activities, right? So you may feel that I was hired as a scrum master, why am I asked to do a job of a manager? I am not that, right? But that's the truth, right? Because very rarely you will find a pure scrum master role. It is always an amalgamation which the people look for. It is always a combination of two roles. They want agility, so they definitely need a scrum master, but at the same time they also need someone who can ensure end to end delivery, right? That mindset has still not changed in many of the organizations. It's changing now. I see that, I see it changing for the customers, right? The clients are understanding the need of it, but still it is pretty slow, if you ask me. And if that is the case, you at times have to make a right balance of being a manager, also managing end to end delivery. Yeah, you are a change agent, you have to become the culture change agent, right? How do you do that? How do you do that? By actually walking the talk. Whatever beliefs, views of Agile Manifesto talks about those four values and 12 principles, irrespective of which framework you use. If you abide by those values and principles, right? Every decision that you take, you fall back to that Agile Manifesto and evaluate, am I doing the right thing? whenever you have to take those decisions, and do it with lot of assertion. So be an assertive communicator, and uh, be the change agent. Because I like that word somebody used, I'm a change catalyst, right? That is so, so important. It may look like only one person is trying to bring a change, but you have no idea what a cascading effect it has on the end, all the people who are working with you. And once that gets, rubbed across, it spreads. And the moment it spreads, that is what defines the culture of the team that you work with. And of course, you are a mentor, because there will be some areas where you can provide some mentorship, you can provide some guidance, you can talk about your experience. And so these are the stances, and to support it, these are some of the skills I feel you should know. It is good, if you have some new jobs in hand, it's better to check with them what kind of tool sets they are using, and get some hands on already. By There is Udemy, all of these tools are available, they have their free version also. So get your hands on in Jira, Azure DevOps, Rally, Confluence, Mural, Miro. I know you may say, you may like today talk about, no, it's not important. Yes, it's not a must have skill. Definitely it's not a must have skill, but it is definitely important to do. Okay, it's definitely important skill. If you have it, you will feel the edge over doing things. So you will not spend time understanding the tool sets, but rather you will focus your area on things which is more important for value delivery, right? So these were some of my inputs when it comes to skills. Now comes the question, how do you measure your effectiveness, right? So what I typically do is, what I do, I'm just sharing with you. I have a Excel sheet with these parameters, right? And I have plotted this kind of spider chart for myself, right? Where do I stand today, and where do I want to move beyond, right? Within next 30 days, next 60 days, next 90 days, where do I want to be? And what I do is, for each of this parameter, right, as an impediment remover, am I already uh, doing all the things? Like, am I acting as a buffer? So these are some of the sample questions I have for myself. You can carve your own questions, and you can evaluate your own score, right? And this is for no one else but for yourself, right? How you are making a progress through as a scrum master. This is important for you, right? Am I organizing hackathons for my team? Am I providing them opportunities to brainstorm ideas, or they are always in a rat race of delivering? Do I create or protect the team from external distractions, where they can actually think about it, think about the innovation, think about process improvements? Do I do that, right? Do I help the team on refactoring, or making things more simple? All right, so these are some of the questions I have put from my list that I do. You can actually evaluate, and you can evaluate, keep those questions in a set for each of these stances, and can evaluate your current as well as what you want to do achieve in the next 30 days, and create your own action plan. When you do this, you become more confident about how you are progressing and making impact to your team, right? And there is a psychological fear also at times that I'm not technical, I'm an overhead to my team. I have heard these kind of pain areas, right? That I don't feel that I'm effective to my team. Yes, your effectiveness is not by telling them how to find a solution, right? If they are brainstorming, they are stuck technically. You will be effective if you can ask the right questions to know about and help them find the answer, right? Or you can go out, seek the person who can actually help the team, maybe the architect, maybe someone else in another team, some other SME. You, if you facilitate that discussion and the team gets the answer, trust me, you are an effective scrum master. You don't have to solve it all by ourselves. Especially in IT, we are all wired to be solution providers. We always think, no, I have to give a solution. If I am not able to give a solution, I am not effective. No, it's not the case. We have to go easy on ourselves, right? If as a scrum master, the stances are very different, right? um, so these were some of the points I felt was important to measure an effectiveness. Uh, the last part is the growth path. I think there are two more topics. Let's see how much time we have. Yeah, okay. So growth path for SM. What do you think is the growth path for SM? I want to first hear it out from you. Let me see the chat. Okay. Agile coach. Everybody is going for agile coach, you know. I mean, if I am a scrum master, I have to become an agile coach in next 2 years. How many scrum masters, how many agile coaches does your account have? One. How many teams it has? Maybe 10, right? Okay. Somebody, agile program manager. That's also good. Okay. What else? Okay. So thank you. I see RTST. So somebody is already there in the zone of safe. Okay. You want to be a leader? Fantastic. Yes. Why not? Change agent across functions. Okay. Agile director. Okay. Somebody wants to become a director also. Great. Great. Great stances. But if you ask me as a scrum master, what is the growth path? Uh, I would say it is somewhat like asking. This I have taken from Mountain Goat software. I learned my initial learning when there was not so much of data available was from Mountain Goat software, right? So I, like I said, I'm a self-taught person. So yes, this was the site which helped me. It is like asking what is the career path of a professional athlete, right? There's no next role for a Scrum Master, if you ask me. Okay, but we all are in an organization, so we want to have a growth path defined. So I would say, like, whatever, whichever organization you are, I'm sure you may, there are people quite seasoned in the industry who have been working for years as a scrum master, and it takes years, literally years, to actually get to know how am I doing, how am I performing as a scrum master, right? Because I'm telling you, um, when I started, right, I did everything. What I did was I did shuhari, right? I learned and I practiced exactly what I learned. I did not change anything, I did not modify anything, right? I- Absolutely whatever the book recommends, I would do that. The result, I got used to it, right? I got used to it. And when I kept doing it, now it is part of me. Now I always do it that way. I don't have to then put special attention to do, oh, am I doing it right? And over the period, you realize that some things don't work if it is done according to the book or done according to the rules, because your dynamics are different, your teams are different, your overall product that you are developing is different, right? So there is no one solution to every problem. So what I do is I alter the processes, right, based on whatever practices are available. If For prioritization, for example, I am not working in safe, let's say, but still if feel that WSJF, the weighted shortest job first, works for my team, I would adopt it. I am working in Kanban, and I see that there is some matrix that I should be following, right? Like what is the defect ratio? I get a lot of defect tickets coming up. Kanban does not talk about that. But if I feel that is important, I would add that, right? I would add to my matrix list because I want data point for that. How often are we getting? Why are we getting? So that I have enough data points to discuss. So the when we talk about the growth path, there are two aspects, right? First, whether you want to remain as a scrum master or not. If yes, then you can continue doing this role and keep getting better in it, right? And that is one aspect. The second, like I said, in traditional companies, if you want to do, there are two things. You can become, again, somebody said yes, a agile coach, then an agile director. Okay, fine. What beyond that? At some point in time, you want to break that agile barrier also, because let me put it also in perspective. Just like we don't have a waterfall coach, going forward in next 5 years we will not need a agile coach because everybody would be agile, right? Think about it. So everybody would be agile. We will not be talking explicitly, no, this is important, we need to do incremental and iterative delivery, because that will be the part of the ways of working. It would be already established. A scrum master is an effective scrum master when he or she is not needed anymore, right? Because you don't need anyone to tell the team, because they're already empowered, they're already high performing, they know how to resolve their conflicts, they know how to sort it out. So you don't need a scrum master. So what next? So when you think about your growth path, think from your aspirations that really drives you, right? Don't just limit yourself with the agile roles. uh, can be very controversial statement, but that's what I think. Again, these are my views. Key challenges that you may face with scrum master is, there are other challenges like conflict management and all, but they are part of your work, right? The key challenges happens when you start becoming a scrum police. You want to again start telling, no, do this or do that, you have not your yours you don't become a police. Like, people are alert, okay, she's now here and she's going to look through every Jira story and break our head. That is not the purpose of Jira, right? Jira is just a tool to help you formulate and get some data points from there, right? The stories are there just to have a discussion so that we can collaborate more and find the behavior, what are the functionalities we need to add. The moment you change it to, no, it has to be this detail, that you lose the essence, and you will not have time for that, right? So don't be and you do not have to be a hero either, that I will solve all your, I'm not a superman, yeah, I am a human too. Correct. So you need not do that. There will be times when you will be just a scribe, like scheduling the calls, but have no idea, people not joining the calls and so, and you have no authority, right? You have been told you have no authority, so you can't even question them. No, it's not like that. Don't reduce to that. Rather, you try and evaluate why people are not joining, because there will always be a reason for it. If people don't like your like, or do not see value in it, they will not do it, because they have other valuable stuff in their hand, like to deliver the to develop the solutions probably, right? They will not like to come. But if they see a value add, they will look forward to those events, and that is your job, to make it more, you know worthy of our discussion. Don't reduce to a secretary that somebody is asking you to facilitate a discussion, or a coffee clerk. But I think it's fine to be a coffee clerk at times. Come and share the coffee with your colleagues. At least virtually we can't do it, but host those one-to-one connections, like every Friday or once in a month. Have those conversation, free talk, right? Not related to work, to generate that team culture. You are also not a chairman of all the calls that you have to be there and ensure everybody has joined, right? Don't do that. Create a culture where people do it. Okay, people run the show and you take a back step. That's when you are truly effective, when your team doesn't need you. And don't reduce to an admin. Jira stories, you are evaluating if this they are correct or not. Don't do that, right? And also, don't be a boss. You are not. We are not boss. You are a leader, right? Someone who leads by example, who walks the talk. So That's it. I think I have exceeded my time. So I'll take a pause here. So over to you, Prashant.
Yes. Thank you, Deepashri. Thanks
Yeah.
for your session. We have some few questions here. So I think the first question is from RC Goel. Uh, he's asking, what is the meaning that industry not seasoned enough?
Okay, when I say, when I was talking about we don't have enough seasoned scrum masters in the industry, what I mean is
Okay.
the industry that we are working on right now, right? They have not been really agile, right? They all want to do
Mhm,
it because they see it, they see it as a peer pressure. Most of the companies, right?
mhm,
My competitor is doing agile, so we have to be agile. Okay, because you will see this trend, like in European countries, they want to adopt Spotify. US clients, they want to adopt Safe, right? There is a reason, because their peers have adopted Safe, they have shown some success stories, they want to replicate that, right? So
mhm.
what happens
Wow.
is they just start doing it, so you don't have effective scrum masters, so it's anyways very less, right? So that's the first,
True.
that's what
That's
I
true.
meant.
Yeah. Okay. Second question from Karthik.
Hmm.
What he says is
Can I become
just a
scrum
second.
master?
Can I become? Yeah, can I become Scrum Master with
Scrum
0 to 1 years of industry experience?
um Let me put it this way: nobody can stop you from being a scrum master if you want to be, right? Because it is absolutely, I cannot define that. There is no requirement that you need to have so many years of experience to be a scrum master, because scrum master, like I said, it's an innate quality, it's a leadership quality, and you can have it even with zero experience, right? But having said that, will your CV get shortlisted within a company, in a different company? I would say no, it will not, because most of the companies have that parameters, that it has to be some 7 to 8 years of some experience, leadership experience, could be a team leader, project manager experience, or scrum master experience before you start. But there's no stopping you, Karthik. You can always work with your current the company and try to pick this role. You can start shadowing your existing scrum master and start practicing it. And I mean, this is my view again, so I don't want to discourage you. You can obviously keep trying. If you have the skills and you get shortlisted, uh, I will be more than happy. Do share your success story. Yeah.
Yeah, that. Thank you. There is one interesting question from Prasanna Dorai.
Mm,
He says, "I am a hotelier, work as a manager. How does
mm.
this help in operating, marketing, and training the team?" Ah, that's
What
interesting. It's in
helps?
the hotel domain.
Agile? How
Yeah,
agile helps?
yeah.
Then
How's
let
agile
me
or
put it this
Scrum
way,
Master role?
right? Hmm. See, forget Scrum Master role here. But let's talk about agile, right? Do we use agile in hotel industry, right? How do we introduce that? I would put it slightly differently. What is the purpose of using this? Because what kind of value delivery do you want, right? And then coming to how it helps the operations, marketing, the training team, agile does not solve any problem. Okay, that's another myth that we have, that if we adopt agility, we are going to reduce on cost and we will be much better. No, it doesn't work that ways. Rather, agile, if you adopt agile practices, and if you adopt the agile ways of working, it's going to make things more transparent, and it's going to expose all your problems. The moment it exposes your problems, it is up to the people, right, who will be solving them. So it actually makes things very transparent. So if you are working with operations, marketing, training the team in a hotel industry, I think the best way, we have some success stories from the hotel industry, and there we work towards value delivery, and your value delivery will be towards your customers, right, to your end clients. So how do you fast track their check in into the hotel, for example? How do you fast track their menu orders, right? So design thinking, along with design thinking and agility, when you combine it and when you think from your customer perspective what is really needed, and you come up with those wow ideas, right? Path breaking ideas. That's where agility and design thinking help you. So yeah, hope
Yeah,
that
I
answers
hope
your
it
question.
answers. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So here, Priyanka has mentioned understanding Agile manifesto and Scrum framework will make the base of Scrum Master. What's your thought on
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, if you have to start with, I think the best certification where you will start learning is PSM1, right? I recommend that to everyone to actually go through it, because even if you don't take the certification, go through the Scrum Guide. It creates your foundation at least. Right, there are multiple books that you can talk, like one is from Hiren Doshi. I started with that, so that's what I'm sharing, right? When I started my journey, I started with those little things. So when you read those books, right, it clears some concepts. Okay, this is how it works, and then you have to keep practicing. Like I said, you try it within your own team. Yeah.
that? Okay. Uh, we have Priyank says, in my view, Agile coach, Scrum Master would be always required, and as long as new team keep forming, that would lead to coaching, mentoring, and facilitators needs.
Okay. I think it's your view. I mean, we don't have waterfall coaches, no? So that's what I wanted to resonate with. That with over a time, over a period, right, you will observe that this coaching, training, it would be done by the team members itself, right? Everybody is not going to leave, right? There would be a small section who would be leaving, and that would always be there, right? That the change of team dynamics. So obviously you need somebody to guide the team and all, but having said that, I'm not saying that this role is not at all important. This is a very important role. I play that role at times. So what I see it as, when you are working and as the industry matures, right, we might see that agility becomes a default. By default it is imbibed in every layer, right? You don't really need to coach them how agility works. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Deepashri. I
Hey,
think we
thank
are
you.
bang on time. With this,
Okay.
I would like to thank you on behalf of Agile Network India community for making time
Thank
and
you so
sharing your
much.
thoughts.